the door. Let your clothes hit the floor. We ain't talk all day, but I know what you came here for. So don't hit me with the shot. We ain't got all night, but I'ma make it feel timeless. Kiss the right places, so you know where my mind been. Kiss the right places, baby, you know what the vibe is.
Hello. It's the E Spot with Camille, and we're going to have a wonderful guest on today. He's my dear friend, Chip Shearin. He has worked with everyone. I cannot wait for you to find out more about his story. He stems from North Carolina. He's actually a Durham native, and we're going to hear all about all that he's doing now in the wonderful city of LA. I'm not jealous. Okay, maybe I'm jealous, but he's going to come on and he's going to share all about his wonderful career, extensive career, long list of career. He sent me his information. I was like, I didn't know you had did that much. Good gosh, you've done it all. Well, thank you so much for coming on today with me, Chip Shearin. I really appreciate it. How's everything
My,
going for you in LA?
we're here. I get a chance to be in front of you without a mask. You know what I mean?
That's the
So
best
wait a
part.
minute. Make sure you're back 6 feet, or are
Oh
you?
yeah,
Let
I'm
me see.
definitely 6 feet from my
Okay. Okay.
computer.
As long as you are, then it's good. Yeah, but otherwise things are wonderful. It's groovy. I mean, it's a new day. It's a a, a, a refocus of who we are from a distance until we figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, how are you guys? I mean, because you have an entire family as well. Like,
Mhm.
how are you guys balancing everything with working from home and homeschooling and all of that wonderful fun stuff too?
It's been, I can't say it's been yeah, I guess I can. It's been pretty simple. I mean, I got two kids, one 9, one 12, and they're both really smart. So school has never been an issue for them. I got other issues with these knuckleheads, but that's just not one.
Well, luckily you
So
have a basketball court for them to play
yeah,
on too,
oh
because you
God,
have
that's
well, let's
that's
start from
that's
there
really helping.
actually. Let's go ahead
Yeah.
and dive right into it because your career is so long that if I start talking too much about your family, we can do that off air. Let's talk about your career stuff because good gracious. So you're from Durham originally. Let's start from
Yes.
there. How did you get into the music industry?
I had a grandmother who was a music teacher. It was kind of by force, you know. It's like she would keep me after school. It's like, well, either you're going to play piano or some instrument, I'm going to kill you. So, I think she was probably arrested 6 or 12 times by, Durham police for child abuse. No, I'm just kidding,
I was
really.
like,
But,
wait, what?
being
Plot
being
twist.
being being a music teacher, this lady really, and she actually taught a lot of my professors I had at college at Duke and also
Mm.
at North Carolina Central. And it was kind of funny, taking music from someone who was taught by your grandmother. There's a little pressure to that, you know what I mean?
I
So
can
that's
only
basically how I got
imagine.
into it. So it started classical music and playing string bass in the youth symphony and playing piano at the same time. And
Wow.
we just take off from there. So that was the starting point.
Yeah, what made you choose bass guitar? 'Cause out of
Uh,
all
uh,
the instruments.
yeah, no, I was playing guitar because somebody told me if I played guitar, being that I was extremely shy, maybe girls would like you. It's not a promise,
Mm.
but being that I was trying to figure it out as I was going at a very young age of about
Yeah.
13, had a buddy of mine by the name of John P. Key, who's a very well accomplished, award-winning gospel artist. And at the time, we were growing up together. He's like, Chip, you ever play bass? I'm like, no, but I want to learn. So I bought a bass at, like, I don't know where I got it, a pawn shop, some music store or something. I don't remember where it was. And I'd go to his house and I would play bass. His brother actually played bass for the Staple Singers. So here I am, just in the midst of so much talent. So I was just a sponge. It was kind of
Yeah.
easy and at least the way I felt about it, for the sake of how I was going to learn the bass. And that was the starting point, was through John P. Key. He took piano lessons from my grandmother, so there was a connection again.
Wow. I need to be adopted by your grandma. She's connected to everyone. No, I'm kidding. So then what happened after that? You went from playing in Durham, and the next thing you know, you're playing on one of the most popular, most heard rap songs of the well, ever, actually, I would say. Like everybody's
Mm.
heard Rapper's Delight by the Sugarhill Gang. So how did that come about?
Uh, uh, Being in music school, matter of fact, I met a friend of mine who actually lived in New Jersey. And it just happened that it was one of those summers before school, because this would have been, ooh, 79, now that I think about it, in the summer.
Yeah, I wasn't
And I
born yet.
decided, Yeah, well, there you go.
I'm kidding.
Thanks. Thanks, Camille. Thanks.
I was.
Thanks. Yeah, that
I
shows
was.
your age, Camille. Thanks. So,
And see, God don't
I
like
know.
ugly. I got busted that
No,
quick for
no.
lying.
Well, there you go. So, I ended up following him to New Jersey
Okay.
one summer just to hang out. Walked into a studio he took me into, which happened to be Sugarhill Records, which was the name of it at the time, which was a pretty cool studio. Here I am, young little kid, 18 years old. I'm sitting, well, matter of fact, I think I was 17 at the time, sitting on the floor, and the guy says, "Hey, I got a song I need somebody to play on." You and Ms. Robinson, who owned the studio, had told us to have a seat. She didn't tell us what we were going to be doing. And so that's how it started. So it was by chance, a chance happening. I happened to be in the
Mhm.
right place at the right time, and was picked to do it. Now, it just happened that I was a big jazz um, uh, studier, practiced a lot. So my abilities were pretty good for a person my age. And so I was able to play one groove for God 16 minutes, because that original song, I think with the edit, was like 14 minutes and 30 seconds. It's some ridiculously long song, which was okay back then. But you
Mhm.
can imagine how hard it was, or how hard it will be even now, to tell any musician to play the same thing for 14, 15 minutes. So happening chance, you're prepared at the right time for the right opportunity, and that's how it started.
Yeah. Now, I read the article where you said you have a love-hate relationship with that song. So you want to dive into that so I don't have to
Ooh.
ask you about it ever again.
Well, it's interesting. I think I have more of a love for it now because I appreciate what it actually did for the music industry. I mean, this was the start of a multi-billion-dollar part of the music industry, which was that genre of music called rap. So, but at the time, I wanted to be more legit, as we said. I wanted to be a straight
Mm.
ahead. I was playing upright and electric at the same time, and I wanted to be that guy. I wanted to be like my idol, Ray Brown and Stanley Clark and Jaco Pastorius and all of these wonderful, talented jazz guys. I wanted to be that guy. You know what I mean?
Okay, so jazz was
So,
your original
oh
goal.
yeah, that's what I wanted to do. And
Ah,
this
okay.
was, I thought, just something cool. I learned a little bit about recording in the studio. I got paid so much money, 70 something dollars, 79. I thought I was rich at the time, but hey, you walk up to a
Wait,
17-year-old
back up.
kid
Wait.
now.
That's all you made off of that record or just that was the
At
original payment?
at that time, $79, I thought I was rich. 78, 70, it was something like that. I think it
Yeah.
was a little less than 80. I remember
So
that.
no residuals or anything from it since then?
No, because it was work for hire. So that's how it all was. You have to
Oh
understand, this is the
my
first
god.
time a
Music
song had ever
industry
been
is
recorded.
horrible.
Well, nobody ever knew.
Okay.
No one had any inkling that rap would have lasted like it has now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I hear it in so many different commercials and like I feel like I just heard it recently in a commercial and it just seemed like they would have to pay you for the part that you played on it, but guess not.
No, no. If you
Oh,
sign
wow.
work for hire, you get paid for doing it, and that's it. It's like a plumber coming into your house, and that
Mm,
plumber, you hire him to do just plumbing, all right?
mm.
And he expects later, but hey, every time you ran water through those pipes, I should get paid. You're like, nah, I paid you to put the pipes in. So work for hire, same
Wow.
thing.
Got it. I can understand the hate part of that then.
Well, yeah, the
In
the
that
hate part
sense.
wasn't as much the money, because I didn't value music for money. Music
Okay.
was love to me at that point. It was just something that I was extremely passionate about. The hate part came because now all of a sudden, as the years went on, I would hear this thing on Radio Shack commercials. I would hear it on shoe commercials, clothing stores, tire companies, in the background of TV shows and
Mhm.
movies. And it was amazing how many times I would hear it. And I'm like, God, I'm sick of this thing. This was before we really had any appreciation for
Yeah.
what the history of what rap was going to turn into.
Yeah, okay.
Rap wasn't really thought of as being
It was very
any
underground.
well, it was, and
Yeah.
nobody thought it would ever have any social or historical value.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Now I get paid to go to predominantly white schools to talk about a style of music that is indigenous, so-called, to black people, and we need to know about it because there's so many social ramifications and it moves people. I'm
Mhm.
like, really?
You're like, "I'm a pioneer."
I, I had no idea in 1979 that I'd be,
Yeah.
you know, giving a speech at Duke and Yale and these other places about,
Wow.
my parts
Involvement, yeah.
of this part of music history. It's something else. Something else.
I guess that can be invaluable in itself as opposed to maybe getting payment for every time you hear it. Because you also ended up getting,
Uh,
part of the Hall of Fame with it as well, right?
well, yeah, I was included in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for pretty obvious reasons. You have to understand when I played that bass line, this was before the invention of a sampler. Okay, so
Mm,
there were no machines driving, as the kids call beats. There wasn't that wasn't around. It wasn't going to happen for a number of years after that. So performances had to be played.
mm.
So the most recognized bass line of any type of music at that point would have been this song. This song actually predates Another One Bites the Dust.
Okay, right.
So by about 4 months, and John, I forget John's name, who's the bass player for Queen, but he actually told me that my bass line was the reason why they decided to write Another One Bites the Dust. Now, of
Oh,
course, that is
wow.
too much. That's too much weight to hang on to,
Yeah.
because the song itself was a sample in mind, not machine, of something that Bernard Edwards and Chic did called Good Times.
Right. These
So,
are the good
right,
times. Yeah.
absolutely. So in New York, they were having these parties called hip hops. Now, you know what a sock hop was. So a
Dude, no.
hip hop a sock hop was really a hip hop. A sock, you go dance in your socks. That's what they used to do in the
Oh,
50s.
okay.
So a hip hop was a style of party. It was not a music. So at
Mm.
these styles of parties, they would have rappers, which was a new, I can't say a new thing because that had been on the radio for years, DJs rapping, but they would actually rap to the break beat, just this one little part. The guy would just stop play it again. He would stop the table, play it again, play it. They had it marked with pencil, and
Mm.
you actually put tape on it so they would know where the needle would go in between. And so
Oh,
that was the start of what hip hop was. So the idea of actually rapping over a whole song was something that came about through Sugarhill Records, and they decided, well, why don't we just record the whole thing? Find us a rap group, and that's pretty much how the whole thing came about.
oh, wow. And I mean, you mentioned that you had to play it for 14 minutes, but it was
Yeah.
just one time too, or something like that, right?
Oh, I played it once. That's it.
Okay.
Me, God, the drummer passed a number of years ago, and a couple other guys actually did the whole session in one take.
Mm.
So,
One take
because,
chip.
like I said, it was like, well, yeah. And to
Mhm.
be honest, I think everybody in the band was, they were pretty solid musicians.
Mm.
So to play one song that long, we thought was like, okay, well, that's fine. But we had to all be in time. So the idea of you gotta, everybody's got to stay in time. Don't get tired,
Right,
because
right.
that does happen. Fatigue happens in anything. So that
Right.
becomes the whole push: is how can I be as machine as possible to play this thing for 14, matter of 16 minutes, and then of course they fade and edit out, and that's what it turns into.
Oh,
But
wow.
yeah, it was a serious mental exercise. I'll tell you that.
I
Just
can bet.
toughness.
So what did you end up doing after what was the next thing you did after that? Like, did your career just kind of skyrocket or did it take
I
some
went
effort to
home.
go right
I
back?
mean,
Okay.
I went home. You have to understand, this was like still bananas music. No one's
Mm.
ever thought this was going to turn into things. So we did a couple of what were called rappers conventions.
Oh.
So you can imagine we would all be in a bus, and in this bus, you would have Grandmaster Flash writing on a napkin. You would have the Sequence Girls, that's Angie Stone, all of those on the bus. And, ooh, I got lyrics better than yours. And all of us were on the bus at the same time,
Oh,
riding down the road.
wow.
Where did we go to? We drove down 95 to the Capitol Center. I remember we had to do this. That was a real long bus ride from New Jersey to D.C. I don't know if you get that. But they just cut up, and they would battle each other and come up with ideas, and it's
Fun.
so many hip songs. And the message, matter of fact, was written on a bus ride. The idea for that song by Grandmaster Flash. So there's no telling how many others came about because of that.
Right.
But after this, obviously the next thing for me, I went home, not thinking rap was going to turn into anything. No one did, other than a couple of little shows. And then radio hit, and this
Mm,
started into something I don't think any of us really thought was going to happen,
mhm.
where you would see this song on American Bandstand. So
Yeah.
now it becomes legitimized. It's played all over the world, and before you know it, more stars are coming out, and then you have all of the other new rappers that are coming out, and I'm in Durham, back in school.
Like,
The
man.
whole rap world is going on. I'm like, no, I still want to be legit. Yeah, but you played on a song. Yeah, but don't tell
Oh,
anybody.
wow.
That's where it was. I didn't want to be known for it.
Oh,
Not at all. I mean, I
wow.
thought maybe it would have been cool, but I'm like, nah,
It wasn't
because
what you wanted to do.
the jazz guys are like, no, that's bubblegum, man. That's ridiculous. That's not serious.
Oh, wow. So
So
then,
back
yeah.
to school, and that was it. Yeah, back in the study of music.
Now, what did you finish at school? What did you end up graduating in?
I went to North Carolina Central University and also Duke. To
Okay.
be honest, most of my music classes were always at North Carolina Central. I had classwork and those things I had to do at Duke at the same time. But for the most part, all of the studying had to come inside of times that I had available, because then I'd start doing sessions. I
Mm,
started recording for local little groups around. I would
mhm.
end up back in New Jersey again, doing stuff for Benny King and all of these other type of little
Wow.
acts, doing little
Yeah.
songs here, there, and the other. I mean, there's no telling how many sessions I played on the songs. I don't even know where they are, but I remember I played on them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but they paid. And then you get into the jingle world and you're doing stuff, and,
Right.
you don't know whether, it's just 30 seconds of music.
Right.
They count you in, you play your part, you get, $100, and you leave the studio, you go to another one, you do it again. So
Mm.
that was my life after this. And then top 40 bands, playing with some band named Metro. I'll never forget, that was the name. And they were out of Long Island. So I was back and forth on trains, late at night, nowhere to
Mm.
stay. So I'm like basically living homeless, because I have a bass, my suitcase. I would sleep in hotel rooms. I would sneak in them after we would play in the hotel, get on the train back on the Long Island, and head back into Port Authority, sleep in Port Authority, take the bus back into New Jersey, sneak in a guy's house, get in the sneak in his basement. His parents didn't even know I was in the house. I'll never forget that. So, but that was
Yeah.
my life as an early musician. I was
Oh, wow.
always hustling, trying to find a way.
I
That was
can
it.
relate a lot because,
Yeah.
much like yourself, I ended up going to several different schools and would drop out in and out for
Right.
different
That's right.
films or shows. And
Yeah.
whenever the opportunity came, I would take it. Like, it took me 8 years to really get my degree because
Hmm.
I took a lot of time off in between.
Right.
Now, you've worked with a lot of different people that are well-known names like Marion Meadows, Aretha, the late Aretha Franklin. What was
Yeah.
that like? And Christina Aguilera, Janet Jackson. Like, well, yeah, just tell us, what was that
Well, I
like?
mean,
Or how did those opportunities come
I,
about?
it's still the same thing. I mean,
Okay.
in this industry to this day, the successful working musician has become an expert at
Mm.
building relationships. You can practice all you want, but if you're a jerk, nobody's going to hire you.
Amen to
If
that.
if you're somebody's friend and you're nice and they just love being around you and you really can play, you're going to really be busy.
Mhm.
But that personality and caring about people and having people care about you is what keeps you working. So relationships would start, and I'd be put in things. So I was playing with a keyboard player by the name of James Lloyd, who is a lead keyboard player for a group called Pieces of a Dream. So, and
Mm.
he still had this group, very famous group, wonderful keyboard player. And at the time, he was playing with Marion Meadows. This is an example of one. And he says, "Hey, man, we're living in New York. We're living about 2 blocks from each other. Hey, man, I got to play in Philly. You want to come?" So we drive from New York down to Philly, and I walk in. There's Mr. Marion Meadows. He's selling tons of records at the time. Um, and they needed to go to St. Thomas. He didn't have a bass
Mm.
player. He looks at James,
You're
says,
like,
"I need you
I'll
to get it."
go.
Right, I need a bass player for next week. And he says, "Well, let's take Chip." And that's how that gig happened. So here we go. And so, I ended up being with Marion for years. And then Marion would introduce me to Alex Bugnon, and Marion would introduce me to this guy. Before you know it, I'm playing with them. And so the relationships that branch off.
Mm.
Same thing with playing, getting that opportunity to play with Aretha came through a buddy of mine that played in a church. So I'm subbing, for the most part. And before you know it, I got a string of dates. I'm hanging out with her. I'm getting cursed out by her. You know,
Wait, wait,
um,
wait. You can't just say
all the
you were
great lessons.
cursed out by her. You got to tell us the story about getting cursed out by Aretha. I mean, Aretha has some amazing diva
So,
moments. So I want to
sound
hear this for
sound check in Canton. No, no. God. No, it wasn't God. Oh, God. It was somewhere in Ohio.
that doesn't
Dayton.
matter. The
Dayton,
Aretha
Ohio.
part does. Okay.
Yeah, well, I love trying to remember cities because
Okay.
cities are real unique for the sake of how they're built.
True.
So
They can be the
Dayton's
personality.
nothing
Yeah.
like Cleveland. You know what I mean? So it was in Dayton,
Never been to
and
either.
yeah, it's a great little town, great music
Okay.
town, wonderful
Oh,
people.
okay.
It was in Dayton. We had sound check scheduled for like I'm thinking two or something like that. And of course, normally what happens, the sound company comes in, they set up first. Your roadies and your tour guys come in, and what they do is they set up all your equipment,
Okay.
and then you come in after they're set up to do sound check. So sound check's supposed to be there too. We're there too, just to find out that we were supposed to be there at 1:30. So Aretha was there at 1:30.
Oh,
So, the thing about her, she's a stickler for being on time, even though
yeah, respect.
she might have been late occasionally, but never wrong. But she could this, oh, where you been, bass player? Is this how it's gonna be? So I'm
Ooh,
like,
not respect herself
oh
telling
yeah,
you.
yeah. And then I found out that she just had a huge heart, hard-nosed lady, but really a kind heart.
Mhm.
And so she would pick on me sometimes just for the hell of it, you know. But there'd be times I'd be playing behind her, Camille, and get lost. I'd almost forget where I was in a song because her voice it's scary good. It's
Yeah,
just, and you know who it is that you're playing behind, but every now and then
right.
it's like, wait a minute, I'm playing Spanish Harlem, and that really is Aretha singing it. I mean, it's just these incredible moments. So, but
Just
there's so many.
amazing.
Dizzy Gillespie played with him, and that was a part of coming through school.
Okay.
Being a student at that particular point, and he was a wonderful person wanting students to play with him. So I was lucky enough to be able to play a few shows with him and learn from him and those things. So, my whole life is just a body of gratitude. That's what I call it for
Mhm.
many people who placed me in positions to learn, absorb, experience.
Well, now just moving forward because I absolutely love her. What was it like working with Janet Jackson?
Hard nosed,
Oh,
nice lady.
okay.
I didn't do as many shows with her.
Mhm.
Um,
What show
one
did you
thing,
do with her, or what?
oh
Trying to
God,
paint the picture what songs they were.
oh Lord, Black Cat days.
See, I'm still mad about Black Cat. I was visiting family up in Illinois, and it was
Mhm.
just when Black Cat first came out.
Right,
And we came to the concert. I don't know where because I don't remember, but they showed a music video like it was the debut. We get to see it first, and then she was sick and didn't perform. So I've
right,
never seen her perform to this day.
yeah. So
So please tell me what was going on with during that.
just high professionalism out of her
Mhm,
whole organization. Um, I don't remember anything negative ever with
mhm,
her, but it was just it was kind of like just a seamless bit of perfection for the sake of a production team from the the smallest person you would have seemed small who's basically just pushing in her stuff, clothes racks which were pretty enormous to people handling where buses parked. I mean, the whole thing was just seamless. She worked hard. She's consistent and how she goes about her business.
mhm.
She smiles. I've never seen her being
Oh,
mean to anybody.
oh,
You know
that's
what I
so
mean?
good to hear.
Um, I can't say she was the most approachable person, but I didn't know her that well, so I wouldn't have approached her anyway.
Right.
I'm just a hired gun at that point. But I can tell you that I've never heard any person who's played with her at any time say anything other than the fact that yeah, she's mad cool, highly professional,
That's
never have to
I love
chase your
hearing stories
money,
like
which
that.
is a good
Oh,
thing.
that part.
And yeah, that happens, but they made sure that hiccup never happened, as far as I was
Mhm.
concerned. I never saw anything bad about it. But yeah, just wonderful energy.
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful historic energy because she's getting all of this from
Yeah.
the
Jackson
incredible
5s and Michael Jackson.
siblings before
Yeah.
her. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Joe Jackson as her dad. I don't think he played around with letting them just
Not
like
even
he
with
was
the
about his
girls.
business. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though the girls were more raised by the mom,
Mm,
from what I understand, but it's not like she took any mess either.
no.
But yeah, very professional.
Oh wow.
And what can I say? Other than the fact that I just hope that there are more musicians that will continue to be like that, which is becoming a little tougher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, moving forward, what are you hoping, or who would you like to work with again that you've worked with before? I'm assuming all of them that paid, but other than that, like what experience was just one that you were like, this was the most fun experience? Maybe, yeah, just from like
It
the
was
tour of it all, maybe.
it was interesting. I've played with so many people that really uh, I've learned a lot from. But
Mm.
if I had to say who I've probably learned the most from recently would probably be Sinbad. You
Okay.
know,
Oh, you guys are
and
good together.
yeah, it's my buddy, and so I'm the music director for his funk comedy shows.
Yeah.
And Sinbad's work ethic is scary legendary. Well, he will work every week if
Okay.
he can. Obviously, COVID's putting a stop to that for many of us. But
No, he
even
goes
now,
live
if you
quite a
go
bit
to,
even
well,
still.
yeah, I was going to say, if you go to his, if you go to his any of his social media pages, he's doing something, or his kids are doing something all the time. There's always something there. But he has seen and done so much in the entertainment industry, where he is a huge encyclopedia
Yeah.
of knowledge, of
Yeah.
bouncing things off, for the sake of mass media, which is
Yeah,
much
no,
larger
he's
than
done
just
everything
music.
from music, movies,
Yeah,
TV shows, and like, I mean, I remember I mean, he's done a lot of different things other than just comedy as well. So
yeah,
that's really cool.
yeah.
Now, how did that relationship come apart? Like, how long have you guys been working together?
Oh, I would say that may be going on about 8 years now. I
Oh,
think
wow.
about
Okay.
2012, I think it was.
Mm.
But yeah, he just, we had met a number of years before that. He gave me a call and said, "Dude, I'm putting together a band. I need you to put together a band for me. So can you be my music director to help me put a band together, do some
Oh,
dates?"
nice.
So I'm like, "Okay, what do you want to do?"
Hmm.
So we talked about it. I love the idea, and so we started off. We thought we would test it at like these little clubs, like the one in Raleigh was Charlie Goodnight's. I can't remember if
Okay.
that was the name of the place,
No,
but on
I know
stage,
Charlie Goodnight's the comedy club in
yeah,
downtown
it was
Raleigh.
just so the first time we were just testing it out was me and him, and that was it.
Mm.
So no, I take it back. I found a young drummer somewhere to come up and just tap because it was just going to be comedy anyway. But it
Yeah,
ended
yeah.
up really turning into something that the audience likes.
Oh,
So Sinbad has
fun.
always been a real frustrated musician, which I think, as he says, most comedians want to be musicians and most musicians want to be comedians. He's probably right.
I think a
I
lot of
think,
actors want to be comedians too,
and
or
a
maybe
lot
it's
of
just
actors
me.
do. That's exactly right. No, man, I think you know that. That's exactly right.
No,
It really
no.
is.
Yeah, it's
So that's
true.
that's basically how it started. Then we started just doing, a lot of big club dates and large auditoriums and having full horn sections and bands and singers and all of this kind of stuff and being able to understand his flow, which is God knows what.
Yeah.
So the bands always have to be ready to uh, for what could possibly be coming next. Because in the middle of the show, he might say Camille, and you're like, okay, and we go
And then you're just
go
doing
into
word up.
yeah, we got to go into a cameo thing while he tells a joke over. You never know.
Oh,
Regardless of how hard we've been rehearsed, it could always change, just like that.
oh, that's
But
fun.
that is the entertainment industry. That's the real entertainment industry where you're able to create on the fly. That's
Yeah,
entertaining. So
it
it's a
is.
wonderful lesson, what I've learned from him and still do.
Oh, that's great. Now, so like, what are you doing as far as like everybody's stuck home right now? Are you doing any classes? Are you working on anything new? Anything we can expect? Because people are starting to run out of Netflix shows to watch, I'm hearing.
I'm starting to work on things that are old. I don't want to do anything new.
Okay.
So I'm just deciding I'm going to like every day go back in time until I'm like 11 years old again. No, I'm just kidding. In other words, you know,
So I know things are legal there. How much have you been smoking it? No, I'm kidding.
you know,
Just
it's
kidding.
so funny. Maybe that it shouldn't. It should be something I should appreciate, but I
Yeah.
stopped doing that kind of stuff in college
Oh,
because for
okay.
some reason I didn't want my dad to kill me. So for some reason, I kind of, I kind of valued my life a little bit more than,
Understandable.
doing illicit drugs and being around illicit people. But even though I do know you, Camille, so I mean,
Hey, no outing me. What are you talking about? I am no longer an illicit person.
right.
I'm a mother now and a
I
PTA
know.
member.
Yeah, look, that's scary. That's scary.
I know. I
If the
can't believe they
PTA
let me
if
in.
the PTA only knew, hey PTA, watch your back, watch it,
They're
watch your
desperate for people. I show up. I'm a professional volunteer. I miss my ESL kids so bad right now.
back.
So no,
Well, that's
yeah.
it. But yeah, but this COVID thing. I mean,
Mhm.
I had no choice. I'm
Yeah.
sitting around messing with the computer. I came up with an idea for a song. Before you know it, I'm like 6 songs deep. You know, so I'll probably have a
Yeah.
record finished by the time this is over. So there's
Oh,
some good things
great.
about this.
Yeah, yeah.
I started a website a number of years ago out of force. You can imagine, Camille, the amount of musicians who've come up to me saying, "Chip, how do you do it? I mean,
Yeah.
how do you make a living
Mhm.
at this business? I've been trying for a little while. I don't have COVID. I just had to cough.
Sure you
Um,
don't. I'm like,
so
we're safe distance. You're
6
fine.
feet. So, um, so I decided I'd build a website, which we've been in construction, over a little while, to teach musicians how to make a living,
Oh,
how to
wow.
actually be able to support yourselves versus, you know, having a part-time job and also doing
Mhm.
music. Nothing wrong with doing that, but there are some things that you can do that can earn you considerable money every month.
Mm.
So I know these ways because I had to teach myself these ways in order to sustain myself. So and so the site deals with that. It deals with teaching musicians how to set up an S corp, for example.
Wait,
Uh,
a what?
an S corp. In other words, you
Oh,
create
okay.
a corporation and you
I was like,
basically pay yourself.
illicit.
Right.
Speaking of illicit, I don't think that's a side hustle they should go into.
Right. That's
Yeah.
the other thing that I'm doing is I'm teaching musicians how to make a living because I'm getting tons of questions, probably more now than I ever had before.
Right.
So, but I have been able to sustain myself through not a pandemic, but
Mhm.
a lot of times where there are no tours or there's no work, and how are you going to get through it? You know,
Yeah.
Tons of music companies, for example, sell all kinds of equipment. All right. Musicians know that I have been consulting with about 6 or 7 very large corporations
I know. I've
over the
seen you
last
at
7 years.
you'll
And I
post different
basically,
pictures from it
they
where
had
you're
tons
working
of
those
stuff, and,
events.
and they're
Yeah.
asking me to show the companies want me to know how to can you connect me to musicians. Musicians want to know
Mm.
how do I get an endorsement deal. So
Mhm.
I just through fire have trained myself how to know how to do all this, how to build these
Mhm.
proper relationships. And the idea is a lot of musicians, if they knew it, we wouldn't have as many that are struggling. So that's what the
Right.
site's going to do. And we
Oh,
call it
that's
the
great.
increase. Hopefully the site will be up. Ah, goodness. The website guy, we have a meeting this evening talking
Oh,
about it.
good.
Only can talk, can't ever meet anymore.
Right, right.
But hopefully we'll have this thing up and running by the end of May. That's my goal.
Oh,
So,
wonderful. Make
and
sure
it
you
will,
send me the link. I'll definitely
oh,
post
I
about
will.
it.
It
That's
will work.
exciting.
It's going to catch fire pretty quick because everybody's waiting on it. But it'll be like
Mhm.
going to the gym. You come
Right,
in, every machine is in there just based on what you need to work on.
right.
And I've tied in with a lot of other, very popular musicians, and they're sharing their secrets as well, from film scoring to jingles. So a lot of different things.
I
Yeah.
get that a lot where people or different musicians will ask me, and I have no idea. So this is a great
Hmm.
time for me to ask you because you've
Hmm.
worked on also on movies as well. How do artists get their work on movies, would you say?
Yeah, that's becoming a little harder than it used to be because now
Okay.
what happens, a lot of the music that's going on in movies is all licensed. So
Mhm.
here's the predicament that movie production houses have. You do a movie. The one thing we do know is the movie is completely speculative in its story. You don't know anything about it. You
Mhm.
walk into the theater, think about it. You sit down, it's a movie you've never seen before. So you're a little apprehensive on what to expect. I really want to enjoy myself. I bought my popcorn. I'm doing everything to make myself have a good time, but I have no idea if the next hour and 30 minutes is going to be what I want. And I
Right.
know I paid my money. So how do you create a creature comfort for people? You let them hear songs that they're familiar with, right?
Mm.
So you'll start to see more and more films have music out of the 70s, out of the 80s, out of,
Okay.
their big hits for. So because it tends to relax you, it tends to give you a sense of familiarity. So then the story is built on this subliminal comfort level
Oh,
that the
got it.
music that the music just painted. So that being said, it's different now to get into the doing scoring as it was before because no one is looking necessarily for original music for
Mm.
something. I mean, for example, God, what's the kid song? What's the movie? All the kids, Frozen, for example, right?
Okay.
So you got that song.
I was thinking
So
Baby
here's
Shark at first.
Baby Shark's another one. Where you know what I
But
mean?
no, I know
So
Let It Go from Elsa or from Frozen.
right,
Everybody knows
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So those are very rare. They don't
Mhm.
happen as much.
Okay.
For example, sing the theme to Iron Man.
Yeah, no, I don't. I know it. I know. Gosh, I could think of the guy's name that does it because he licensed movie or music for iMovie. Hans Zimmerman.
Right,
I know
Hans
he did it, but I can't
and
tell you.
Hans is
I
like,
can't sing it for you.
Hans did part of it, and then you had a lot
Okay.
of other people, including myself, who actually did a lot of the music for fight
I
scenes.
didn't know that.
Yeah. So what you
Well, I
find
didn't know
yourself
half of this
doing,
stuff about you
well, but the
because
thing
we're
is, a lot.
friends. I don't look up your resume, but yeah,
I don't want to
needless
tell
to
you that
say,
kind of boring crap. Who wants to know that?
it's not boring to me. I
That's
love
like
this
that's
stuff.
that's like saying, Chip, what was in the trash you took out Thursday? I don't know.
I mean, if your trash is playing music to Iron Man, yes, I want to know about that. Iron Man's one of my favorite Avengers. Speaking of like you're the Avenger as well, but wow. So okay, I get your point that
Yeah,
it's
so
not as
that's
well
it. So
known.
now you have to work into those,
Yeah.
and maybe you'll get lucky that someone will ask you to write a song for a
Mhm.
movie, a song, versus scoring a scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Because
scene
there's
work is
yeah.
possible to get into, but song work is really tough.
Like, I was
Really
just think
tough.
about even with, like, Lizzo's career, I feel like it kinda took off more when she had that one song in a movie that was on Netflix. Because that's when I started looking up. Because I loved that song when they were, like,
Right,
dancing around in the kitchen,
right.
and so I was like, "Oh, that is a
Hmm.
great theme song for women to listen to while getting
Right.
ready," but
Hmm.
I guess, again, you're right, I don't think of any other songs that I can
Right.
remember from a movie like that.
Hmm.
Wow, I see you dropping all the gems. And what about with
Mm.
commercial work? Is that as difficult to get on, or is that probably a safer bet to try
No,
to
that's
pursue?
much easier because
Okay.
the thing is just a case in point in why I started getting into commercial music.
Mhm.
I was on the road with Michael Bolton, and I remember
That's not even on your resume. Sorry.
huh?
It's one of my mom's favorite, Michael
Oh,
Bolton.
that
I was like, "That's not even on your resume."
well, you have to tell her
Yeah.
his real name is Bolotin.
Oh.
Boloton, Bolotin. So of course
Huh.
that's not Michael Bolotin. Just
Baloney. That would have been baloney
yes,
in no time.
she had to take a no out. Anyway, I digress. Um, but I
Huh.
remember I was playing with him. I was, doing tours. You have off days, right?
Right.
So it was a layover day, and I'm sitting looking at the hotel, and there was a restaurant called Mel's. I think that's what it was. This is a number of years ago, Camille.
Okay.
And I just had this idea. and I walked over to this diner and I got something to eat and I'm sitting there trying to get my nerve up. And the cook, who I assume was probably the owner because he was giving all the orders out, and I had a moment. I said, "Hey, I got something I want you to hear." He's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, I know. It's just, I was just thinking, I think I might have some cool music that might kind of fit your place."
Yeah.
It's like, "All right." So I went back to the hotel. I had a little cassette deck with me that recorded on 4 tracks.
Yeah.
And, I was able to tap on the desk. So that was my drum, to be quite honest. I faked it with my hands.
Yeah.
Played bass and guitar, and I actually sang this little jingle, about 30 seconds of music, and I went back and let the guy hear it, and he loved it. Before you know it, this guy gave me $650.
You got more
So,
from that than the
and
Sugarhill Gang. And it took
thank
you
you.
less time.
And before you know it, I was
Commercial work is where it's at.
well, it
Can
is.
be.
And then, so what I ended up doing was I actually wrote a book on the jingle business. And
Didn't know
in
that
this,
either.
well, that's part of the
Yeah.
website. I know there's so much. If I were to
I
update
love
that
having this
thing
show.
all the
I'm
time.
learning more and more about my friends and family. Like even with my dad, I was like, "Wait, what? You never
Yep.
told me
And
that story before."
wait till I
Yeah.
tell you that I was a Klans member. But anyway, that's another story. So anyway,
Wait, you're the Black
um,
Klansman?
that's me.
I thought I
Come on,
recognized
don't you
you.
see the resemblance?
Absolutely no.
Yeah, but writing this book on jingles, I did so many after that. And
Okay.
every time I would learn something that would work, I'd write it down.
Yeah,
This book is so complete. It actually teaches you what to say to people.
I need to
So I
get
can
that book.
basically take any musician and I
Yeah.
can guarantee them that
What's
they'll
the name of the
increase
book?
their
I want to make
income.
sure I put it in the comments in case people, because
Well,
I'm sure it's on Amazon or
well,
somewhere, right?
no, that's what I did
Oh.
not want to do. So that was the thing, the mistake I had made was to
Mm,
think I'll just put it on Amazon. Well,
mm.
this is before Amazon. I'll just have it published because what happens, anybody gets a book published, Camille, that book, if you're lucky and you can have enough marketing money behind it to pay for the shelf life and border books, you have to pay to be on the
Ah.
table on the front table when you open the door. That's just not for free.
Oh, wow.
So if you can afford to pay to be there for 30 days, then you'll sell some books. But guess what? After 30 days, you have to pay again. And if you don't, then your book goes to the bottom of the shelf upstairs near the kids department where nobody really wants to go. All
Oh,
right.
no,
So,
yeah.
and so now you spend all of this money trying to write this book and no way to really market it. So,
Hmm.
having it attached to the website where we can teach musicians, they have
Oh,
access to the
okay.
book. It's just much better because
So
then the
all
book
in
has shelf
May.
life. Right.
Okay. Okay.
It's, so now the
Oh,
book
I see what
has
you're doing, a
a
Father's Day
longer.
tie-in.
I hadn't thought about that, but now that I think about it, Father's Day gifts, I need to start. Yeah, I'm gonna start going after that one quick.
Yeah, man.
We need to
We're
politicize
gonna have
Father's Day
something we
more.
need to do during, like, all of us women are gonna need something to keep our husbands busy that's at home once we run out of all the honey-do list and there's no more, well,
Uh,
I guess there's still always
Camille,
yard work, but
Camille, you'll create a longer list for your husband.
no, it
I
takes
know your
no.
husband, and I know that he loves his honeydew list. Tell him I said
Look,
that.
I'm just glad he put the fan in my room because that was I've been asking for that for over a year, and so my list is empty. Whatever I get at this point, it's a
That's a
bonus.
hard-working guy. So
He is,
that dude is always grinding.
he
So
is.
you're lucky to have your fan, and leave him alone for Father's Day, will you?
I said I'm not. No, I know he wanted to learn how to play the piano at one point, so that's why I was like, ooh, maybe this would re-inspire that wish. Maybe because he kind of gave up on it for a while, but
Buy him a grand
yeah, but
piano.
synthesizer.
So.
Oh yeah. Hey, any sponsors want to send me a grand piano? Because I just have grand piano money in my back pocket. I'll pull
Of
out.
course.
Can't even think of the name of the company right now, but whatever. So wait, so you did all these jingles. You have a book coming out about that. That's going to be on your website. Is there anything else that you would like to share that's coming up that we definitely need to know about, Mr. Chip Shearin?
Well, I have this friend named Camille, and this lady, I don't think people realize how much she's given
Oh,
to her craft, to trying to create access and a point for people to learn and find out more about things. This person has put more of herself ahead of others than she should. More put others
Be
ahead of
careful, you're gonna
her
make me cry.
than she probably should have.
Oh,
So people need to get to know you and appreciate what you're doing. It is an extremely important venture that you are
absolutely.
sharing these moments with people. All right.
I
Your
appreciate that.
parents, your mom, there's so many people who've been so important to your story. And now your story is affecting mine.
Oh,
Your story is affecting so many other very talented people and making all of us a little better. So, Camille, I stand altered because of your presence.
oh, Chip, this was supposed to be about you, and you made it about me. I, I adore you, and I adore your family, and I love you guys so much. And thank you for that. I really
Well, you know,
appreciate it.
we love you too. Very proud of what you do.
Well, see,
Very
you
much so.
brought up something that made me think of something else real quick before I let you go, because I know you have your hands full. But you mentioned about learning so much. Now, what do you think for a lot of new musicians? What would be the one thing you would make sure that you would kind of give them as advice that to help them in this music industry?
It's interesting. If I had to reinvent myself, for
Mm.
example, in 2020, well, let's just say 2021. I think this year is kind of over. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
For
I
most of
mean,
us.
but we got a lot of
Um,
time to do whatever prep
oh,
work you might give
well,
us, you know?
yeah.
Like,
Well, let's just
now we
say,
have a slow down moment to actually
right.
take
The
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 time
prep
to
work
work on your craft.
going forward would be to tap into your personality,
Mm,
tap into your faith, tap into your ability to believe what may not exist. You have to have the ability to say, I know it doesn't exist, but I still see it and I'm going to create it. That becomes everything. I'm not going to be judgmental about styles of music because it really doesn't matter. You know
mm.
what I mean? I mean, yeah, some of the raps my sons listen to right now, I don't know I can't even understand what they're saying. I really can't, you know. But I am sure that my dad probably thought the same thing about Kool and the Gang,
I mean, I was kinda
so,
lucky since my
you
dad
know,
worked in hip hop that he was very
right.
supportive of me listening to it, but my grandmother, on the other hand, that was devil's music, so
Oh yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, so just build your personality,
Mhm,
build your ability to control your likeness,
mhm.
master the internet because that will be the ultimate media as we go forward.
Yeah.
If you get behind, and I always feel like I'm trying to play catch up now because I really am. I mean, my kids operate my phone better than I do. They operate every device in the house better than I do.
Well, they
So
grew up with them, right?
that
So,
it's just who they are.
mhm,
So, but imagine that you need to be better than someone else, even at that.
mhm.
So, you know, if there's something you want, be an expert at it. Study it. Make sure you know who your competitors are. Even if you want to rap, find out what all the other rappers are doing and master what they're doing so that you can be better at what it is that your creative energy has you doing. That's the best advice I can give anybody. You know, it's
That's
just,
really good.
yeah, just don't quit. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hate to be kinda controversial, but I know how much you love controversy. What's
Mhm.
is there any updates with, I think it was Fender? Are they still is it still not inclusive or
Look,
still yeah, no. Oh.
I've been thinking about because I get messages people want to have an update.
Mm.
I
'Cause I
will
hadn't
say
seen one,
this.
that's why I was like, "Ooh, I'll
Oh,
just ask him on the show."
I'm not gonna give an update on this company. You know, here's a company. Let me just put it to you out there, and then I'll go back to your original question. You know, we
Okay.
have a mandate in place for only essential businesses being open.
Mhm.
I guess Fender assumes that building a guitar is an essential business. You employ 100% Spanish speaking people in, of all places, Corona, California. You lay off half of the people, which means you aren't paying them. And then the rest of the people, you still have them in the shop. Probably close to 150 people in a factory. And you're going to tell me you're sustaining 6 feet lines, 6 foot space lines in between each other. And you assume that I guess your business is essential. No.
Mm, mm, mm.
So what do we learn from that is that some companies will value uh, money over people. They really will. You know, when I was initially contacted by Fender to help them find some better ways to connect to people, I met with Andy Mooney, who's the president of Fender, and I turned around my iPad and I showed him. I said, "Here's your website. You notice something striking? There are no women or people of color anywhere on your website, on any page." This was last year. Now, here's the Martin Luther King part of what happens. Martin Luther King never got paid per se
Mm,
for being arrested or any of these particular things that have happened. And the Fender story is extremely negative in what I went through. But the knee-jerk reaction, if you look at the site now, it's inclusive of people of color. So, uh, it,
But are they actually
making
endorsing or are they just models and just
well,
like
I don't know, but at
okay,
least we're seeing a, they're trying.
okay.
All right, and it really doesn't matter to me if they fail or succeed. But from the outside looking in, the knee-jerk reaction is making a difference to those people who do not know that Fender in the past has been non-inclusive.
Right.
So for the 16-year-old young uh, uh, boy, girl, whoever it is wanting to learn a guitar, now has an opportunity to see someone who looks like them.
Mm,
So regardless of the mistake made, at least the knee-jerk reaction is starting to do something positive.
okay.
So uh, uh, do I think they circled the wagons to protect themselves? Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I outed them pretty bad. I mean,
No,
I
I
outed them. I
remember.
mean, that post I put up, I think it went viral. It had some 30,000 views uh, because when they made a decision to take my idea and not go after the church market, the black church market, which I
Mhm.
told them they needed to go because that's who's playing your instrument the most.
Right.
So you may as well, if anything, how about giving endorsements to black musicians? I couldn't, Camille, at that time, I could not find one extremely well-known black church musician who had ever had an endorsement relationship with Fender.
Mm.
Not one. I could find tons of white ones. So what did they do? They took my huge proposal. They went and had another study done by a company in Orange County who came in and did a proposal as well that studied the white churches. So they go to Nashville, they endorse whole churches, give them PA systems, bass amps, guitars. They sign a number of white artists. I guess they didn't think we would find out, but what happens, musicians love social media, and they took to social media to say, look at my new Fender that I just got.
Oh, what a
And they
shame.
didn't give any endorsements or build any relationships with any black churches whatsoever.
That's a
Not
shame.
one. Jonathan Dubose, one of let's just say he's our George Benson of gospel music.
Mhm.
This is a legendary guitar player who also he's a guitarist for Harry Connick.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Jonathan has never been able to get an endorsement deal with Fender, and he basically invented Fender. I mean, he's known for playing a Fender. There are billions of kids who took up guitar 30 years ago because of Jonathan Dubose who are playing Fender,
Mhm.
and they never ever showed any appreciation or gratitude to this guy by giving him an instrument. Not only did they not reach out to him, but he reached out to them and would be turned down even after telling them that he was playing with Harry Connick.
Sheesh.
So,
That says a lot about Fender. I think I'm
Oh, it
staying
says
away
it says
from
a
there.
lot, but to be quite honest, Camille,
Yeah.
it says a lot about a lot of companies.
Hmm.
I just happened to
True.
find out about that one, but I'm sure they all have had their issues with not knowing exactly how to go about approaching the African American market.
Well, I
You can
wonder
call
how inclusive even the Fender office is as far as the people who work there that would even speak up to say that this needs to be included. So there's no
there's
one
one
speaking for you.
one,
Yeah.
and then that person who is a extremely gifted, wonderful man, senior vice president. I'm not going to call his name. Um,
He's
uh,
trying to keep that one job. I get it.
well, to be
But
quite honest, after what we went through,
mhm,
uh, it definitely came down to me having to do my part to make sure he kept it,
mhm,
because I easily could have continued to hammer social media and make his job harder.
mm,
But this guy actually had the idea of me helping Fender, and it didn't work. So I want him to succeed as best I can. I'm glad that my efforts created a knee-jerk reaction that I think will be positive for people that will come after. The idea is for people to have access and to be able to
right.
learn an instrument without having to struggle, and to be able to see that a company uh, responds or respects them. Even if they don't, do you feel good about what you're doing? Good. Then maybe you'll play. Maybe you'll enjoy yourself. Maybe you'll be more creative. Maybe you'll be a better person because you felt like you were getting love from somebody. That's all that really matters.
I
That's
respect that.
look, the knee jerk to me is a victory. That's all it is. The site changed.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere sometimes, and maybe that
Got to
will
start somewhere.
encourage more in the future. And of course, I
Yeah.
have to say there is a Cower guitar. I don't know how inclusive they are, but I follow them on Instagram just because we have the same last name.
you
But
know,
they're out
there
of Bay Area,
there
California.
are
So
there are a lot of
yeah,
great people building instruments, and
yeah,
most of them are building instruments, Camille, because they couldn't afford to buy one. That's how
right.
they get into it,
That
or
makes sense.
they felt like, you know what, I can't afford the one I want, but
Mm.
maybe I can learn how to build something that I like for myself. Before you know it, a whole company starts.
The importance of woodshop in high school again, or in
That's
schools.
look, yes,
They really
very
need to
much
bring
so.
back trades, yeah, just for that reason, but
Very,
I wanna
very
I
much
wanna be
so.
mindful of your time. Is there anything else? I wanna make sure that everybody knows where to follow you and keep up with you, 'cause so we don't miss out on your website dropping with all the great knowledge and books and
Yeah,
classes.
the website will be called the increase dot
Okay.
whatever. God knows nowadays. Is there a difference between .com, .net, and
There's
.org
a
and
lot.
dot?
Yeah, because I mean, I think it's
There's
like
so many.
if it's not .com, some of it's a little bit cheaper, or maybe there already is a .com, but I've seen, like, recently even somebody had IN at the end, like, there's a lot of different options out there
Yeah,
now.
absolutely. So, I might have
Okay.
to put it on org, .com, net, splish
Like, if you
splash,
put
taking a bath,
EDU, then you
.com,
can,
whatever.
like, if you put EDU, you can qualify for student discounts with email. Just
See,
kidding.
hey, look,
Just
if
kidding.
it helps musicians, I'll do
Right, you know.
it.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
yeah.
So, but
Oh, that's
Instagram
awesome.
page, I'm always putting stuff up. I don't like fan pages because I always want people to have a feeling that they can reach out to me.
Mhm.
Just I think connectivity is everything.
It's really awesome right now.
I was at a speech with Quincy Jones, and this is
Of course, is
two
that
thousand twelve. I'll never forget. And I'm listening to Quincy Jones speak, and it's in 2012 when he said this. And he said that in order for the industry to continue to flourish, the distance between the fan and the artist needs to be closer. So
Mhm.
back in the old days, you had Prince up on a hill and you didn't know what he was doing, and it was a mystery who Prince was and all of these things. And oh my God, I wonder if he's wearing purple right now. It's just, and
Or
that's how you
heels.
built, right? The
Yeah,
mystery built fans.
right.
Now the mystery kills fans. So
Mm,
now, just like Quincy said, just think about it. That was 8 years ago, he said the distance needs to become closer. Now look at what social media does. Everybody's going live. They're doing this.
Slide into
Send me a
people's
message.
DMs.
Absolutely. So he was right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was to a point now where if you do have distance in between you and fans, you just won't have any.
Right.
So,
Okay.
all of my pages are accessible. I do respond. I get tons of messages, but I try to respond to the ones that make sense, obviously.
I can understand. I can
you
understand.
know,
Seems to be
best I
like
can.
like there's a lot of bots that just send stuff constantly
Oh,
into
I get all those,
Oh,
but then I
I
get
hate
people who just I get people who just they get upset because I'm
it.
I'm not necessarily a Trump fan. I
I
get a
wonder
couple of
why.
those, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, why don't you? I don't appreciate. Okay, I don't even want to talk about that.
Mhm.
I just want to be great. I want America. I want music to be great again.
Yes. I did not know you did his impersonation so well. That
But
was
I didn't know I
brilliant.
did it either. I was just sitting to see. That's what COVID does to you. It makes you like all of a sudden fine. Like
Super
I'm gonna learn
creative.
knitting. I'm gonna go into knitting. I'm gonna learn knitting. That's my next
No,
thing.
you can't
You
because you
know,
can't risk your hands. You might get cramps from it or it might tire your fingers
I
out,
could
but
I
you
could
gotta
end up being
protect
the
your
great,
fingers.
but I could be the greatest knitting bass player of all time
We
if
don't
I
need
don't
any more
tap
knitters
into it.
because you can't make
Ah,
mask knitting.
I don't know. I saw a guy that had a Fendi mask on. He's walking his dog and had a Fendi
That
mask.
sounds like something Crystal
I
would
was
wear,
like,
let's be honest. I
no,
love her. It would be
she's so
Gucci.
no. She loves fashion, but no, that
Yeah.
girl,
Okay.
she's so practical. That's why I have to be
Okay.
bright. I have to look. I ask her permission for
Yeah.
everything. Like, do you mind? Can I breathe? It's two. Is it all right?
No, I
You
just
know.
remember her having the cutest little fanny pack, and I think it was Gucci. I don't
Yeah,
remember. I just remember being so
she
I was just thinking it would match her
the
mask and her.
she has friends at the
Yeah.
Gucci store. Okay, do you understand? Oh, hi Crystal, how are you?
They see their
Yeah.
paychecks rising right when she walks
Oh
in the door.
Lord, her and her sister. Yeah, her and her
Oh,
sister. Yeah, they
fun.
share
Oh,
each other.
I miss California. Well, next time I'm in
Yeah.
town, I'm definitely hoping to see you guys. And
Yep,
happy
you got to do
belated
that.
birthday too, right?
Thank you. That's right. I
Yeah.
turned 31. Yeah.
Wait, if you were performing in 1979, leap year baby, got it.
It's never been done before. It's never been done. Never been done. You have to understand, I'm the only person who can turn my age. I'll never be this age again because age is a number. It's a number. It's math. It's math. You understand? Like algebra, like minus, like subtraction. Do you understand? Can you spell subtraction? I can. I can do it all. I promise you. Because no one has ever done anything better than me. Nothing. Nothing.
Look,
No other bass player knows anything more than me. Nobody. Nothing. Nothing.
look,
Nothing.
that's the part I'm gonna send to
Nothing.
TMZ. That part right there. Just kidding. No, it's been such a pleasure, Chip. I can't thank you enough for hanging out with me on this beautiful Friday evening. And please send my love to your family. And I can't wait to see all the wonderful stuff you have coming up. And I love seeing you go live on Instagram when you do your little small, I don't know if they're called riffs.
I haven't gone live yet, but I'm going to go live
Oh,
soon.
well, I guess it was
Yeah.
pre-recorded, but I call everything live
I'll
there
post
videos
all kind
now.
of crazy stuff,
And it's hilarious.
Yeah, in the morning, I'm doing a new one. It's called In My Car. Being that I haven't driven in so long, I'm just going to wake up, go get in my car and sit.
Fun times.
I have nothing else to do. I'm just going to sit. I'm not going to
Why
drive.
not?
I just want to sit in it.
Well, enjoy. And I love
Yeah.
seeing all your basketball videos and so on as well with your trick shots and things. So
My
I'm
kids
looking
teach me.
forward.
Yeah,
They're amazing, by the
they're
way.
something else. Great
So,
kids.
well, they get it obviously from their parents. So
Of course they do.
all from Crystal. But anyway, thanks again for joining me. And
You're
I'll
welcome,
see you guys
Camille.
again soon. Have a great
Thank,
night. And thanks for
thank you. It's
stopping
glad to
by.
be a part of it.
Oh, it was
All
my
right.
pleasure. All right. Oh, now I can't get my mouse to work. Awkward bye time. All right,
No
bye.
worries. It works. Bye bye.
Bye. Another fun night at the E Spot. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That was Chip Shearin, an amazing bassist. Please go follow him on all Instagram pages. Just look up Chip and Shearin. You'll find him. He's amazing. Just go follow him, especially if you're a musician. You can learn so much from him. He's clearly worked with all the greats, with Quincy Jones, Aretha Franklin, Janet Jackson, Dizzy Gillespie. Like I didn't expect that one because it, of course, in the entire resume he sent me, that's not listed, and that would have been first on mine. But anyway, thanks again for joining the E-Spot. I can't wait for next week. Monday, we're having a very special 420 in celebration of 420. Nocturnal will be here. I love all their products. I'm just showing you that I'm a genuine lover of their products. I'm not just I'm not just a member, I'm also a fan. I don't know. Anyway, they're going to be here next week to answer all your questions that you may have about CBD. How does it work? What is legal for this area? I don't know if they'll be able to cover so much for other states since the laws change so much, whether you can have THC, not have THC, what's the percentages, but maybe they can answer some of those questions, and also what kind of ailments do they help with, or I don't know the legalese of what you can say as far as with the FDA and the FCC, so I'm not going to say too much about that. I'll get them to do it, but they'll be here on Monday, and because it's 420, I thought it'd be funny to do it at 4, so 420 with Nocturnal, and then the rest of the week is with all my wonderful design friends from High Point Furniture Market, since next week was supposed to be spring market. I'm bringing all my favorite designers right here on the E-Spot, where they're going to talk about trends. They're going to talk about different things that you can do within your home that's safe for you to do yourself as far as DIYs, or some things you should leave to the professionals, and a little HGTV magic they might share with us as well. And I can't wait for that week. So I hope you'll join me Monday, special time. I'll be on at 4. The rest of the week we'll be on at 6 o'clock. And an added special treat because there's a new show with one of my, well, not one of my best friend in the world, Jeremy Austin. You may know him as Six. He's going to be on. She's going to be on. I don't know. Actually, I think we're going to get the he, not the she, because she performs Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Thursday is his day off. And much like RuPaul, he's only in drag when you pay him. You got it? Okay. So on Thursday, he's going to explain and talk to us about his experience on working on the new show, We're Here, which will be debuting on Thursday on HBO, April 23rd, I do believe is Thursday. Yes, April 23rd. He's going to be on a special time at 8 o'clock. So there'll be 2 shows on Thursday. And he'll be my 8 o'clock guest, where he's going to share his experience on working on We're Here, where he was the makeup artist for Eureka, as amongst many other jobs he's worked on. He's worked on Drag Race. He worked on I Love Jenny back in the day. He worked with Sam Smith. Like, everybody's going to be here next week. I can't wait for you to see all the HGTV people. I'm going to have Donna Moss, Trisha Bedoy, Talia Malik. Talia, I'm saying her name wrong because I'm trying to say all 3 of her names. I'll just go with Talia Kranick will be on. Donna Moss from HGTV. Jennifer Farrell, also from HGTV. The Cohen brothers, they used to be with, I'm blanking on the name, but they do all the different beautiful tile work that a lot of different people use. Donna Moss is one of their designers that's come up with all these beautiful, like glittery waterfall tiles, and they're going to explain what you can do at home because they're still working as far as being able to deliver all the different tiles that you can have for your backsplash, or maybe just a beautiful art wall of tile. And just wait. Next week is going to be amazing. And I can't wait for you guys to tune in. I hope you enjoy today and have a great weekend. And I'll see you guys all back on Monday. And make sure you're following me on Instagram because I love going live with people, and maybe we can go live together. I'll see you then. Have a great, great Friday.
Let your clothes hit the floor. We ain't talk all day, but I know what you came here for. So don't hit me with the shot. We ain't got on